Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to TV Guide Live. I'm Mickey O'Connor, and with me today I have my colleagues Sadie Guinness and Liz Raftery. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Thanks for being here. Today we're going to talk about everything we know about the much anticipated Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek TV series premiering on CBS All Access in January. The characters, the plot, the casting, everything. If you have any questions for us, please send them now to @TVGuide on Twitter with the hashtag TVGLive or on Facebook in the comments below, and we'll answer them at the end of the show. So we've got a lot to talk about, so let's boldly go where no TV Guide Live show has ever gone before. So up front, I want to make a disclaimer, which is that I'm not a Trekkie, I'm not a Trekker, whatever the terminology is. I've just started catching up on the old Star Trek series in preparation for this one. I think Liz, you're with me on this, right? You're a noob.
I'm behind you. I basically don't know.
Tell everyone what you just told us about Patrick Stewart.
I thought that Patrick Stewart played Spock, and I basically don't know the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Right.
So
there we go.
Yeah.
Sadie, on the other hand, you're a huge nerd, right?
I was raised by a Trekkie.
Yeah.
Like my parents met because.
Do they say Trekkie or Trekker? They say Trekkie.
Well, I think there's a difference.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We don't have to get into it.
But yeah, like my parents met because my dad was wearing Spock ears, and so like Star Trek is in my blood, but I haven't really done enough legwork to really live up to my parents' legacy.
Right. Well, we have time. So, Sadie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we know about this new show?
It's led by Brian Fuller, who is a writer on Star Trek Voyager, but most people know him for like Hannibal and Pushing Daisies.
Right.
And he has a really strong visual aesthetic.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see what this Star Trek will look like. It'll probably look very different than the traditional series we've seen before. And it's going to have a female lead.
Right.
And she's not going to be the captain, though.
Yeah.
That's like the big kind of twist, if you can call it that.
It's interesting. I never really thought about it until they made the point to say that, but every single other Star Trek series has sort of been focused on what the absolute most senior officers are doing on a ship, including centrally the captain.
Is this like an upstairs, downstairs Star Trek? Because I read about it, and it's like the lower ranking people that she's going to be one of them, right?
But it does say that she's going to be a lieutenant commander, which isn't exactly.
Oh, okay.
I think she's going to be somewhere like in the middle, but it won't be like the story of one person who's like responsible for everyone on the ship. So she's going to sort of be able to approach problems from a very different perspective.
Okay.
And I was reading something. I'm catching up on New Generation right now, so I haven't seen this episode yet, but apparently there's a famous episode that's called Below Decks that kind of like focused on like people who are not like the main characters. So, and people were comparing it to that, saying that like maybe it's going to be, the focus is shifted elsewhere. So speaking, you mentioned that the main character is going to be a woman, possibly a person of color. Who do you think should play this role?
I really want Angela Bassett.
I think that would be amazing.
Brian Fuller like mentioned that. He's like, I would love to have like Angela Bassett in Star Wars or Star Trek.
Yeah.
But ever since he said that, like I can't get that picture out of my mind.
Yeah.
She's such a commanding presence. I think it would be really fun to see her in the new Star Trek.
It would be really interesting. Who do you think?
I think Sandra Oh would be really good. She
Grey's
hasn't
Anatomy.
really done anything since Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And she has the like science-y medical jargon background.
She has a commanding presence.
Yeah.
But also very like vulnerable. Like you could see her taking on the more like emotional storylines very well.
Yeah, totally. I think she could lead a ship or space thing, whatever.
A ship for space?
Whatever.
Is that what you said? A starship?
Their fleet or whatever they are in. Yeah, but I think she'd be good in it.
So I don't know what this says about me, but I went younger, and I was thinking about kind of a new discovery. Someone named Amara Karan, who you would know. She plays Chandra. She's like the attorney on The Night Of.
Yeah.
She's great. Like I think in particular the last few episodes she's been really amazing, and like she's very restrained, I think, in a way that I feel like could you're talking about a military operation, like you could see someone sort of having an internal life that's not right on the surface. That was my pick.
This would also be like the best follow-up to The Night Of. Like she's coming off this project that's so hot right now. If she jumped right into Star Trek, her career would be made.
I mean, I guess that's the thing, is that I kind of, in my head, I was thinking they're probably going to pick someone who's not already famous, but I don't know. I mean, they usually do pick people who are like semi-famous to be the
has some
captains.
sort of name,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that she could be good. I think she's like maybe even a little like too good. I don't know.
You think she's too good for Star Trek?
Yeah, I don't know. She should do like some prestige project on something.
Yeah.
I don't know, or
Yeah,
just
'cause
like
if she
make
signs
a leap
on
to
for this,
movies or something.
She's doing this for a while, I think.
True.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is like where it fits into the canon. So a lot of people have talked about this. We were at TCA last week or 2 weeks ago, and they mentioned that this is gonna exist in the Prime universe, which is separate from the universe of the movies, right?
Yes.
And it's gonna be 10 years before Captain Kirk, and that it's gonna be.
It's not going to be during the Romulan War.
Right. It's going to center on an event that's known in the Star Trek universe, although they haven't revealed what that event is. But it's not the Romulan War, and it's not the Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru.
There you go. Brian Fuller said some interesting things about this lead character that I thought was cool, which is that at Comic-Con, he was talking about the lead character, and he said he'd been talking to a woman named Mae Jemison, who was the first Black woman astronaut, and saying that he felt like that he saw like a lot in her that he wanted this new character to emulate, which I thought was kind of cool. What do you think? What do you think that a new Star Trek series like has to have in it to make it like a good, compelling show for 2016?
I think it needs to have a blend of episodic and serialized storytelling.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The show was so episodic.
Yeah.
And I know Brian Fuller has said it's going to be more serialized, but I don't think it should lose it completely. I feel like Grey's Anatomy does it really well, and like early Scandal, where like there are those like fun little storylines, but we need a dramatic through line.
For the characters, for the main characters to sort of see character development. And, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that, the one thing that I keep thinking of, the show that I'm hoping it ends up emulating, which I know a lot of people are saying, is Battlestar Galactica, a big favorite of mine.
I wanted to have more humor though. Like Battlestar was so
depressing,
dark and like really like religious.
Yeah.
And
It's
Star
true.
Trek is fun. Like it's a fun world, and I don't want it to lose that in trying to be like prestige or gritty or important.
Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think about the whole like gritty, dark? Like people say that about everything.
Don't make
these
Star
days.
Trek gritty. That's not what Star Trek is.
Yeah.
Like just do
You
another
think it should
space
be
show then.
Candy colored and smooth surfaces and.
No, it's not like a USA
No, I mean that's
show.
No, I know, but that's what Star Trek is. It's like the uniforms and like the modern architecture and the ship and everything, and it's very candy colored. I think.
Is it going to be Pushing Daisies or Hannibal?
Yeah, Pushing Daisies or Hannibal.
Yeah.
Hopefully somewhere in between.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be awesome if it was like the Pushing Daisies version of Star Trek.
Oh, if he took that
facts
aesthetic and
are
applied
these.
it to the alien like world, like that would be so much fun.
Yeah. That show is like slick. When you watch that show, it looks like the whole thing's been like airbrushed and like, Okay, so the rest of the cast also will include an openly gay actor as one of the male leads. Fuller confirmed.
An openly gay actor? I thought he just said one of the characters was going to be gay.
Both. He confirmed both, that it will be an openly gay actor playing an openly gay character.
Oh, well, that kind of narrows it down. I mean, it's true. Like,
A female admiral, a male Klingon captain, a male admiral, a male advisor, and a British male doctor. These are all sort of characters that they've suggested. And of course, these things are evolutionary and they change over time, but that's what they're going with right now. So what else? What else do you want to see on the show, Liz?
Well, I think that, getting back to the lead, it's a huge opportunity for CBS that took a lot of heat at TCAs for the fact that all their shows have white male leads. And this is going to be an all-access show, not on CBS broadcast.
Right.
But
so it's gonna debut on CBS proper, and then after that, all subsequent episodes will be on CBS All Access, and they're actually going to release them weekly, which is more sort of the Hulu model rather than Netflix, which is all at once.
Yeah. So I think that this is a huge opportunity for them to kind of really put their money where their mouth is and actually cast,
multiple.
Right.
Yeah.
Check multiple boxes on the diversity.
I mean, Star Trek has always been sort of about diversity and not just, among humans, but, among out into the universe, aliens and whatnot. It's always been sort of a really strong metaphor for inclusion and for diversity. And so I think that's a really good point that was like put in really sharp relief that day at TCA, because we started the day with the executive session that was all about the lack of diversity in their lineup, and then we ended the day with the Star Trek panel, which was, significantly more promising in terms of inclusion.
Why do you think they're keeping all this stuff under wraps about even what event it's going to take place around? Do you think they don't
drama?
Yeah,
they know. I think.
But don't you?
Wait, what did you say? What?
I was thinking, do you think that they have honed in on it yet? Because I just don't understand. Since there is such a huge fan base already, wouldn't you think it would even ramp up the hype for it if they did kind of tease at least what it was going to be about or something?
Well, I picture it like Hansel and Gretel, where they're leaving little
Breadcrumbs,
breadcrumbs, and they're like,
you're right.
there's going to be a woman.
Yeah.
There's going to be a gay character. They're going to just keep dropping little facts. I
mean, it seems like it's right around the corner, but we still have several months to go before it premieres. So I think that Sadie's right. I think I think that they have a lot of power right now in terms of there's a lot of information still to be released, and so. But I think that they gave us a lot during TCAs. I mean, they did reveal a lot. I mean, I kind of felt like that they would be further along at this point with casting and stuff like that, and they might be, and maybe they didn't, reveal that, but who knows? I just want to remind people, if you want to send questions, you can tweet us at TV Guide using the hashtag TVG Live, or on Facebook in the comments below. All right, so I want to talk about a theory that I read online.
I haven't heard this theory. I'm very curious.
Okay, so in the unaired pilot of the original series, I know, I'm going deep. The original Star Trek series, the captain was someone named Captain Pike, not Captain Kirk, and he had kind of a right-hand woman who was named Number One, who was referred to as Number One. And of course, that's a term that's used later in the series to describe sort of the second in charge, second in command on a ship. It was a woman, and her name was Number One. Interestingly, she was played by, I'm going to mispronounce her name, Majel Barrett, who is famous because she has played the voice of, she's now deceased, but she played the voice of every single computer on the Star Trek shows. She also is married to Gene Roddenberry, the original creator of Star Trek. Anyhow, the network didn't like the character, and so they got rid of her. The network also didn't like Spock, and it turns out that they had to fight for one or the other, and so they fought for Spock. But a lot of people are saying that they think that's who the main character is, that this woman. She was really sort of cerebral, she was really intelligent, she was a lieutenant commander, and she was someone who had emotional difficulty with the role.
Interesting.
And I think it's kind of cool, but they also said that the timing lines up, because there was the episode, the original pilot was from a different time period. They changed the time period when they changed the pilot, and it lines up with the time frame
that would be great
that Brian Fuller has established.
Interesting.
So.
Well, when you were just reading that character description, I thought of someone else who would be perfect in the casting, which would be Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
Oh,
who was on Blind
She's
Spot.
Great. She's
not on Blind Spot anymore.
That movie Secrets and Lies a million years ago.
She was in Broadchurch, and that you're talking about that cerebral, I think that she'd be great in it too.
I would also love Gina Torres.
Oh yeah.
Or if they are going younger, Joy Bryant, I think is such a great actress. Parenthood?
She was on Parenthood.
Oh, okay.
She just signed on to a Hulu
She's on an
Amazon show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those are short seasons.
Yeah, maybe.
They're done filming, I think. She can pop over to the space.
All right, let's take a look at some questions, see what we got. Oh, it looks like we have a lot. Okay. Tony on Twitter asked, will any of the original Star Trek cast be on the show?
I asked William Shatner if he would be open to cameoing, even just as a red shirt, not Kirk. And he basically said that he told Leonard Nimoy that cameos are a waste of time.
Yeah.
And that he would only ever consider returning if there was like a purpose.
If he was a series regular,
He's like, I need to be the lead.
yeah, exactly.
I think he would do like a guest arc if it was like
yeah.
about him and he had like a role. He wouldn't just pop over to be like, hey
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see like actors come in and play different characters, like people that they know from the universe, because obviously the time period is different. But
Yeah, Scott Bakula.
but they also said that they felt like that kind of as the series went along, that they would introduce familiar characters because as we go through that 10 years, we're going to start bumping up against, the original.
But they're gonna have to get new actors to play
Yeah,
those
of course,
characters.
of course.
Okay.
Familiar characters, not actors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless they went the whole wet hot route, and then we were just asked to
Just
believe.
pretended, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of makeup. Let's see. Will there be a crossover between Star Trek Discovery and Big Bang Theory? Asked Kim on Twitter. I would say no, but
I wouldn't be surprised if
like
Sheldon
actors,
like made a reference to like watching the new Star Trek show.
Yeah,
yeah,
I wouldn't be
probably.
surprised either. I also wouldn't be surprised if like actors from the new Star Trek Discovery like guest starred on Big Bang in some capacity or something, like as themselves or something, like if the show blows up and becomes a hit, you know? Justin on Twitter asks, does global warming exist during this time? I would assume so, right? Like it's way in the future.
I don't.
I don't know.
It's like 2555 or something like that.
I don't know, but I would say the show has tackled environmental issues
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Like it always tackles things that are current in whatever time period the universe is currently living in.
This is Alex. Reference to Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Goodbye.
I was just going to say, if we make any mistakes on here, our managing editor, Alex, is going to charge us and hurt us because he's the biggest Star Trek fan of all. Okay, so that was a joke that was played on at our expense. So let's see. Lindsay on Twitter asked, favorite episode of Star Trek or favorite Star Trek movie? I don't know if I have one, but do you have one?
I am currently watching Next Generation for the first time, actually, like in order.
Yeah.
And so the only episodes that are fresh in my mind right now are season 1, which is not good.
Right.
But there are a couple, I can't remember their names, but there are a couple in season 3 that I'm like counting down until I get to.
Yeah.
Can't remember their names.
Let's see. Which Star Trek character would you walk up to and say, you're the worst? Wesley Crusher. Right?
Yeah. But then I would go up to Beverly Crusher and be like, you're the best. Like, I'm sorry
Right.
your son is so obnoxious.
Right. I just actually got to the point where she left the show, but like I guess she comes back, right? Like she's off for like a season and then she comes back. I was reading some dirt about that, about why that happened. It's kind of interesting. It was like a fight with the producer. Anyhow, let's see. What year are they in now? Someone asked. So how did they put it? They put it 10 years before Captain Kirk.
Yes.
Right? Let's see. Anything else? Ooh, people who love Star Trek do not want a remake of Babylon 5. The best series among the several was hands down Star Trek The Next Generation. If you want a model, you have one. Wow. It says Laurel on Facebook.
I agree.
I agree too. I mean, I've only watched Voyager and The Next Generation, but I like The Next Generation more. I've seen episodes of the original. What do you think? What do you think that they need to like retain from the original? Like, is it anything or has it
Everything
been
good
remade?
that's in the original is in Next Generation. So I say focus on that.
Next Generation, yeah. All right, let's see. Do we have one more? Sarah on Twitter asks, how much is CBS All Access? Can't wait to watch. That is a really good question, Sarah. And I think that if you check out our Facebook page right after this, we will give you a link to go to CBS All Access and sign up. It's not too much, right? It's like less than $10, I think, a month.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's very expensive, but I think it'll be really interesting to see how many people actually subscribe to it. Because, I mean, CBS is kind of hanging its hat on this
It's true.
built-in audience. Like,
Right.
I don't think...
They are, before Star Trek premieres, they're debuting a
Big
season
Brother.
of Big Brother this
Right.
fall,
Right.
only on All Access.
Yeah.
And so they're sort of, I think, doing that as like a test run to see how much the fandom will actually
move to
cross
it.
over.
Is there a lot of overlap between Star Trek and Big Brother fans?
Well,
Possibly.
there's
I
one
guess
right here.
We'll find out. But I mean, I also think that, they have stuff in the pipeline. Like there's going to be a Good Wife spinoff that will be
Right.
on CBS All Access. I know that there's some other stuff in the works we can't talk about yet. But yeah, I mean, I think that with any pay TV service, I think that the key is to get like kind of a critical mass that's
Yeah.
like enough so that people will want to pay to subscribe to it.
It's kind of interesting though, because like with Netflix and Amazon, like
They had other
Transparent
things to watch.
Well, like Transparent and Orange is the New Black like came out, and then people started talking about them, and then everyone was like, "Oh, I really want to check out these shows, so I'm going to subscribe to this." But now, if you're a Star Trek fan and this is the only way you can watch, you're like, "Well, they're going to get those people before it even comes out, maybe."
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it will be an interesting test
Yeah.
for the service. I think that's all we have time for today. That's it for TV Guide Live today. Thanks, Sadie and Liz, for being here. And thank you all for joining us. We're here live every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Send us your questions at TV Guide on Twitter, #TVG Live, or facebook.com/TV Guide. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.